Tennessee, stand up on the come up like it was jukin'. Come pull up, don't be looking. We on the grind, come book you a session. If this ain't already, make the first impression. Wait till you see the success. Know that this team is the best. No guns allowed, but come get you a shoe, come get you a shirt, come make you a song, come get you some merch. Tag the dream team bling, step in the room, lights gleam, let the mic sing. It was my dreams, it was likely. Yeah, we turned up in the lab, come get you a mix, sip you a drink or come take you some pics. Yeah. Touching different lands, feeding different sands. It's the music box. We going to the top. Welcome to the lab. We turned up in the lab. Cooking like ribs, come good, get you a slab. Up on the stove, serve it up, heat it up, cook it up, eat it up. It's the music box. It's the music box. It's the music box. It's the music box. We going to the top.
Welcome to Box Talk TV. It's Mia here with Adarius Pauls, also known as Humble Assassin. He's a devoted Christian, father of 2, MMA fighter, and future real estate agent. Now let's get into it. How you feeling, Adarius?
I'm feeling blessed and highly favored. Glad to be here.
I know that's right. Okay, so Humble Assassin. Where did your stage name come from?
My stage name came from when I was thinking about my name. It was I'm humble enough to know that my success is through God, but at the same time in the ring I'm an assassin, and so I'm a humble assassin. I'm down to earth. I'm a cool person. But when it's time to get into that ring, I flip that switch and I turn to a whole nother person and I get the job done.
No, that's good. Okay, so can we pause at devoted Christian?
Okay.
So you didn't just say Christian, you said devoted Christian. So when you put devoted, you kind of set a different tone to your walk, your journey. So what attributes, what about your Christian journey will label or emboss you to be a devoted Christian?
Devoted Christian, I would say I'm a devoted Christian because my walk with Christ is not anything that has been, what I would say, I didn't get it from anybody. Nobody told me to be a Christian. I didn't see somebody and say, I want to be a Christian because this person is a Christian. It was more so, just a little backstory. Last year, March 1st, my birthday March 3rd. Okay. So this is 2 days before my birthday. So I'm a full-time fighter at this point. And so, training, get ready for fights and stuff like that. I get paid to fight, but outside of, fighting one time, I don't get paid, right? So I'm doing action, trying to make some money. So I stayed training late that Friday with a training partner, getting him ready for a fight, things of that nature. And so I leave the gym, so I'm like, okay, boom. I got my work done, now it's time to make some money so I can have some birthday money so I can enjoy myself. So went out there to go DoorDash, and the first 2 orders I did, I got 2 orders. Drop one order off, drop the second order off. I'm leaving out the apartments to go to my next order. So I'm on the phone with a friend. I'm like, I just made $30 in 30 minutes. It's gonna be Good Friday. Friday and Saturdays, that's when people order, stuff like that. So I'm leaving out the apartments. Boom, a car cut in front of me. So I'm like, my lane ends, and I know they see the lane ending. So they jump in front of me, park the car, get out in the middle of the street, and walked up to my car, right? So you already tried to run me off the road, and so it's really nothing to talk about. I done seen this, it was a movie scene that played in my head as everything was going on. So I'm like, I done seen this in a movie before. We ain't got nothing to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I instantly hit the gas, switched lanes. I didn't even look and see if a car was coming or not. I just was trying to get out that jam because I'm trying to make some money. I don't know what's going on. So they end up shooting my car up. Middle of the street, they jumped out and they end up shooting my car up. So as they were shooting my car, the bullets hit my car 3 times. And so I'm sitting in the car. I'm not knowing they finna shoot my car up. They didn't walk up to my car with a gun. It was dark outside. I can't really see nothing. But I'm just knowing that there's really nothing to talk about. So it's a bullet that hit the front of my windshield. So as they were shooting my car, I'm moving around in the car, right? But my head, like, dropped down under the steering wheel. But I didn't drop my head down. It was a force inside the car that moved my head down. And I felt that force. And God had his hands on me that night.
Wow.
Literally, he had his hands on me that night. So I felt him that night. And it's not nothing that, like I said, it was nothing that nobody told me, or it was something that I felt. Like, I'm like, God is with me.
Right.
He's with me. I felt him save my life, because once I popped my head back up and I looked, the bullet hole that was in the front glass, if I would have never dropped my head, the bullet would have went straight through my head. And so that night, I felt God with me. And 2 days before my birthday, to make it to see another birthday,
right,
it put everything in like total perspective, and that really was. And the next month I got baptized, and that's my story on my walk with Christ, and what I really, like I said, devoted, because I'm on extra credit time. My life could have been over with last year.
That's big.
Definitely.
That's big. So you an MMA fighter. Who your favorite fighter? It don't have to be MMA.
Oh, my favorite fighter, top 3 fighters of all time, I would say number 1 easily Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he's a legend, undefeated, skillful, but super dedicated. Coming in at number 2, I would say Demetrius Johnson. Demetrius Johnson, he's a mixed martial artist. He fought at 125 as well, my weight class. But he super skilled, but he's a husband, he's a good person. He's a super skilled for MMA fighter, but he's a really, really good person. And number 3, I would say, is John Jones. John Jones, mixed martial artist, and to me, he's the definition of a mixed martial artist. Like, grapple, submission, knockouts, wherever it has to go, that's where he gonna take it, and he gonna get the job done.
Okay. Out of Javante Davis and Lamont Roach, who you have?
Oh man, coming into the fight, of course I had Javante Davis. I'm a huge Javante Davis fan. But however, that fight, I was glad it was labeled a draw, because I didn't want them to. I felt like if anybody would have won, I felt like they would have gave them the win. I didn't believe that either one of those fighters won that fight. And Javante Davis, listen to some of his interviews before the fight. He's been fighting for a long time, since he was a kid, and he really trying to get out of fighting. And I felt that I'm here to make some money, vibes from that fight, and now I'm here to win. And so, like, fighting is one of those things where you gotta love, you gotta be dedicated, and you gotta be all in. So if you're not all in mentally, it's gonna show. And I believe that Javante Davis fight, him not being all in, it kind of showed. So I was glad that it was a draw. But much props to Lamont Roach, because he definitely brought the fight. He brought the fight. He was underdog, and he brought the fight to the big dog. So I always love to see that.
Okay. The hair grease blinding eye story. Did you believe that? And do you feel like it was fair for Lamont Roach?
Nah, it definitely was not fair to Lamont Roach. The hair grease story, it was definitely fabricated. If you go back and watch the film, he punched him in the eye right before he dropped. So when he said my eye was burning from the hair grease, your eye was burning because he punched you and it hit you directly in the eyeball, which can make it burn.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, I didn't see this, like, it was no sweat. You know, it was totally fabricated. He did a good job. You know, he did a good job with selling it. You know what I mean? But nah.
Good promo.
Great promo.
So with MMA, how many fights have you had? And how many have you won versus how many you lost?
Have I had in total? I think 9. So my next fight is gonna be fight number 10. And I think I won six fights. I think I won 6 fights.
Okay, that's
At my 10,
good.
yep.
I'm scared of you.
It's been a journey. So I went pro last year. So I had 2 pro fights. I won one as a pro. And through the wins, through the losses, you know, MMA, fighting in general, the lessons that I learned from fighting, they all are life lessons. You know, you win, you lose, but it's a lot of people that, you know, they win, they at the top and stuff like that, then they lose, and it's like they lose their sense of identity, or they lose a sense of themselves, when it's like, really, that's a part of life.
Right.
You know, all the fights I lost, Monday, my fight was Saturday, Monday, I'm back in the gym like it never happened. You know, or I'm back with more fuel to the fire, like, oh, okay, bet, watch this. I bet I'm getting next time.
Come back, yeah.
You know, and that's part of life. When life knock you down, it's all about, you know, how you react to it. Because if you get down, you lay down, you stay down, you lost. But you know, some things happen. You get back up, hold your chest out, knock the dust off you. You know, that's to me, that's what a real winner, a real man, a real champion is.
Right. I love that answer. So the losses depend on how you deal with a loss.
Right. Most
That's
definitely.
the real loss. Okay, that was good. Do you say fighting is your gift or your calling?
I would say fighting is a part of my gift, because fighting is like my way of expressing myself. Like, some people express themselves through music, some people express themselves through drawing. Well, it's mixed martial arts. It's an art of war.
Right.
And so it once I started fighting, it gave me a true identity of who I am, because it's something that happens to you when you get punched in the face. When you get punched in the face, it's like a responding mechanism. Like, how are you gonna respond? And once I got punched in the face and I smiled and I loved it, I'm like, okay, it's different, but this is who I am, you know what I mean? And it brought out that warrior that was in me that I didn't know I had, you know what I mean? And so life, once I started training mixed martial arts, life became easy because I was losing. I was getting punched in the face, but it was physical. I could feel it. You know, when you lose in life, you can feel it, but it's not a certain type of pain that's direct to your flesh. You know, it's a pain. It may be more emotional pain.
Right.
And as a man, feeling that pain, it did something to me. So I was able to overcome a lot of challenges, and then life became easy because I'm like, I just got beat up in the gym. So anything that happened in life, it can't feel as bad as I'm actually feeling right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. When did you or your family know that you were gonna be a fighter? You know, as a young kid, you're like, they gonna be a fighter. Like, was it ever a moment for you or your family, that type of moment?
Oh, nah. This was blinded. It was blind. I blinded everybody with this move to be a fighter. I started fighting when I was 23. That's when I started training. And so I didn't really train when I was a kid or nothing like that.
Okay.
I never really been in fights for real as a kid.
Right.
And so yeah, to answer your question, I would say, yeah, it blinded everybody in my family. Nobody saw it coming. And when I told them, you know, especially when I actually started getting into it, they was like, what are you doing?
Everybody on edge.
Go to work. Go to work.
So what sacrifices did you have to make to be humble Assasin?
A lot. Well, I was driving trucks when I jumped into fighting. I was driving trucks, so I was making really good money. But I was in the truck a lot, you know, 6 days a week. I was going doing routes that was it took me 3 days to get there, 3 days back. So if anything happened at 6 days, 8 days, if it's not a perfect trip, you know. And so just doing that, I was making good money. And when I was in high school, the goal that I always had was making six figures. Making six figures, that was like a championship to me as a kid. And so once I was driving trucks and I was going through the ringer, once I got to that point and I made six figures in the truck, I looked at the paperwork, I said, I made six figures. I felt accomplished on one side, but on the other side, I felt empty. I felt super empty because I got an accomplishment that I had for so many years. I finally accomplished this, but I felt so empty on the inside. And so once I was driving, making money, I'm like, money is not the end all be all. It has to be more to life than making money. It has to be, because there's no way I just made all this money, and for one, I don't even know where it's at. Because as I was making it, I was spending it, trying to satisfy myself, make myself happy, because I wasn't really happy with the process. Right, I was trying to fill the void. The process of making the money, I'm losing myself at the same time because I'm not doing something that I really love. I'm not doing something I really enjoy. I'm doing something that's gonna make money. So money, it was not the end all be all. So once I started fighting, the last year that I drove independently, I made six figures that year. And the first year I finally made six figures. The next year I quit. And so when I tell this story to anybody, a normal mind would say, you made six figures and you quit the next year? That does not make any sense. And as I'm living my life, it didn't make sense, but it felt right. It felt right. And so I chased my dreams. I gave up the money. I gave up the now for the later. And that took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me. I had to restructure my entire life because I'm making, thousands of dollars every single week. And so, of course, you upgrade your lifestyle, especially when you young. Like I'm getting this money. I'm 23, 22, 24. You know what I mean? I'm young, so I'm getting money. I'm like, okay, of course, I elevated my lifestyle, I elevated my spending. And so once I started elevating my spending, once I made six figures, then I quit. I'm like, okay, I had to deprogram everything that I learned from childhood to young adulthood to early adulthood. And I had to reprogram a new way of life, a new way of thinking, a new whole different mentality, which it took, like I didn't pay my phone bill for a whole entire year. So I didn't have no phone for a whole year. So if you wanted to call me, you can't call me. You couldn't call me because I'm doing something right now. I'm doing something. I took myself out of regular society and I reinvented myself. I reinvented myself, and it wasn't easy. It was hard during the process. Like I said, a lot of friends, family, they just like, man, they couldn't see it. They couldn't see it, but the whole time, God was with me, and He stayed with me. He stayed with me, and He showed me that if you listen to me, because I was listening to Him and following my gut instincts, but I didn't know I was listening to Him. I just was following my gut instincts, so He was telling me something, and it was more so a feeling. So I'm feeling like, okay, I gotta do what I feel is right. And God was leading me to the path and the journey that I'm on right now, and He was working, and I didn't see a lot of things that He was doing, but I understand now.
Right. Yeah. Talk about sacrifices.
Most definitely.
Okay, so how long, I know you said you started fighting at 23.
Yeah.
So how long, from 23 to now, how long you been in this industry?
23, I just turned 28. So this summer, it was 23 that summer, so it was COVID summer when I started. So this summer will be 5 years. So I've been in this game 5 years.
Okay, that's good. What's your ultimate goal with your career?
My ultimate goal in my career is to become the best version of myself, accomplish as much as I can, but most importantly, I want to lead the younger generation and build them up and build and instill that championship mentality in them. Because when I first started training, until when I ended up switching gyms and I ended up winning the title, I won the belt as an amateur. And once I won that belt as an amateur, versus when I was at the other gym and I was fighting, I was winning some, I was losing some. But then once I switched gyms and I won my championship belt, it was a different mentality. It was a lot that became different about me. And it was a major shift. And I realized I saw the shift in myself. And I'm like, okay, if I can make this shift, I can help the kids make this shift. And if the kids can make this shift at a young age and get that championship mentality and that understanding of self and to understand the worth that they have at an early age, they the future. That's the greatest investment that I could do with my life.
I know that's right.
Because guess what? The little kid that's sitting over there right there, he 8 years old. He could possibly save my life one day.
Come on, man.
He could possibly be a doctor. He could possibly be the firefighter that's going to pull me out of burning house.
I know that's right.
You know what I mean? And so we have to, that's my mission now. That's something that I do, that I take major pride in, is investing into the youth. Investing time, attention, resources into the youth, because they are the future.
And that's bigger than the 6 figures for you.
That's bigger than what any dollar can do. You know what I mean? No amount of money can replace the impact. The impact is the profit. The impact is the profit. It does not get any better than that.
I agree. You got any other hidden talents?
Any other hidden talents? That's a great question. I wasn't ready for that. Any other hidden talents? Some core values that I would say it's a talent only because it's rare.
Okay, let's hear it.
Being a leader, being a strong leader, a strong black man, being real. I pride myself on being real because, you know, it's a lot of people that, you know, they'll fake it to kick it. They'll fake laugh with people and things of that nature. And I be real. Like, I say what it is that need to be said without, you know, being hostile, or like, you could be real and people could be receptive to what you saying versus, he a hater because he said the truth. Because a lot of people take it that way because the way you said it, right? So it's being real. I take pride on being real, not faking the funk, not telling people something just to, you know, being on the in crowd or say it just for the sake of the conversation. I like to speak and say everything with meaning because, man, there's a lot of people that's going through a lot of different things in life.
You're purpose driven, I can tell.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So I'm jumping into this real estate. So I say that's another hidden talent because that's something that, you know, I didn't think before that I had that in me. But now that I'm jumping into the real estate, you know, jumping into selling houses and networking and being around different people, it's bringing a side out of me that I'm not only helping the kids with, you know, through mixed martial arts and helping them become better leaders, but I'm also helping young adults with understanding you can own things, own property, build equity, have generational wealth. You don't have to wait till you got it all figured out. All you have to do is be smart, change those habits, those money spending habits that you spend on the things that don't really matter. You can take that same money and you can save up money and you could buy, own, build equity. You know, you could do these things that's going, you know, in the Bible it says a wise man leaves money for his children's children.
That's good.
And so that's really what I'm just, you know, on God's mission, doing God's will, trying to help other people live out his ways and be more Christ-like and build generational wealth so they can leave things for their children's children.
That's so good. That's so good. What does fighting do for you?
It's a catalyst to who I am. It's a catalyst to who I am. Fighting adversity, losing, getting punched in the face. You know, every training camp that I have, it's almost like I cut off the world and I just train, because I'm getting ready for a war. I'm getting ready to fight. And so every time I'm in training camp, it's like I elevate my discipline. Like the last training camp, I was doing, I was still sneaking in snacks. With this training camp, I got so much momentum from my last training camp that my muscle actually sticks. So now I weigh more because I'm lifting weights. So now I can't sneak in them little snacks because the small stuff, it all matters. And so when you cut off the small things, it becomes big. That's big in your discipline. And so, like, when it comes to, like, just a lot of habits and a lot of ways of thinking that I used to have when I was younger, it's like, I don't really care about those things anymore. And one thing that, especially just through my walk with Christ, trying to become a better man, but become a husband, and just take that journey and get married. That's something that's been, on me real heavy. And it's like, it's not something I want to rush, but, if it's something that you want, you have to be intentional about it, right? And so, I'm gonna flip the script just a little bit because
come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Because you married. So what's some pieces of advice that you could give me to cross over to get married, to some things I could do to find that partner that's also ready as well? Like, what's some piece of advice that you could give to me?
Okay, so first I say heal. I think that's the first step. Anything, I feel like you've done that part when you kind of isolated from the world and rebranded yourself. I feel like that was your healing process. But first step is like healing, and then you pour into you. I know what it is that I'm looking for. I know in a woman, basically. I know what this woman looks like that's complement my lifestyle. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And know exactly what you want. You see what I'm saying? So on sight of seeing what it is that you need, you know what it looks like. And what's not compatible with you, you also know what that looks like too. So go the opposite direction. And I say put yourself on the scene in the places. It's he that finds a wife, right? So you got to go find her. I say put yourself on the scene in the places where the caliber of woman that you're looking for, where she'll be at. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't know your caliber of woman, but if it's not the club scenery, don't go club scenery. If it's rooftop, go on the rooftop. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, put yourself on develop. I feel like you've done that much, though. You've done that much in developing. Align yourself with God's standard or what a husband is. And you got it. You got it. You just go find her and start putting that stuff into practice. That's
Great
it.
advice. I appreciate that. Great advice.
That's it. Okay, so that was so good. That was so good. How do we come back from that? Okay, so we know you a dad, right? And you had 2 little girls.
Yes, I do.
Now, with fighting, so when you got these little girls, you have to be extremely sensitive with little girls. And fighting is an aggressive sport. So how do you shift from being extremely sensitive dad to aggressive assassin?
That's a great question because it was definitely a point early on, especially when they was little. It was I felt the softness coming out of me in other areas that I really didn't want it to. So it was definitely something that I had to learn how to, compartmentalize my softness. But especially like now that they older, so we can play, we have fun. But I'm also like, they're understanding. So now I'm teaching them lessons. So we having these talks. I'm talking to my kids now. It's not just all, they babies and I'm trying to, feed them and they trying to, like, they feed themselves now. You know what I mean? And so now it's my job to give them the tools to continue to feed yourself. To maintain, because you're a child right now. My oldest, she's about to be 7 on Monday. And she's not gonna always be 7.
Right.
You know what I mean? In 15 more years, she's gonna be 22. She's gonna be a grown adult.
Exactly.
And so I'm giving her those tools to be a great citizen in society. And so
you're raising somebody's wife.
Most definitely, 2 of them, 2 of them. So I'm trying to be there for them, but now I'm just having fun. like to be an assassin. Like at first, I was going into the ring, angry and trying to knock people out and trying to let my anger out.
Right.
But now that I'm where I'm at, I'm a professional fighter now. It's all about having fun. When you have fun, you loose and you just enjoying the moment. You enjoying the moment. You here. You present. You're not thinking about what happened yesterday. You're not thinking about what's gonna happen tomorrow. You're not thinking about no bills. You just enjoying the moment where you at. And so that's literally my life right now. When I'm at the house with my kids, I'm having fun with my kids. When I'm at the gym, I go to the gym and I have fun at the gym. When I'm training, I'm lifting weights, having fun. When I go to work, make some money, I'm at work making money, having fun. So I'm having fun everywhere I go. So that's really the biggest shift that I had, is not to be like, I don't go home and be soft. I don't go to the gym and be hard. I go home, have fun. I go to the gym, have fun. So
that's good.
That was the biggest shift that I had to make right there.
That's good. I love that. So you said like fighting is fun for you. You don't fight to let off no steam or let off no anger, but that's your perspective, right?
Currently, now,
right.
I used when I first started training, like I was angry. I was always mad, and I was in the Navy. So I don't know, a lot of people don't know, but I was in the Navy when I first got out of high school. And so from young adulthood to joining the Navy to getting out to trying to find myself, to trying to find who I am, it was a lot of anger. It was a lot of anger in me. A young black man in America, it was a lot of anger built up in me. And so once I went to the gym, I was, and I started fighting. It was the first day I would never remember. I would never forget. I walked into the gym, and they led me to the boxing program. So I got some gloves. I was real mad, and I was hitting the bag as hard as I can. I was getting everything out. By the time I walked out the gym, I was like, what was I mad about again?
Right.
Like I wanted to be mad. I was trying to remember why I was mad, but I couldn't even remember. I was like, man, I'm happy. Like I feel good. And ever since then, like the gym and mixed martial art, it became my happy place. And that's where I transformed my entire life.
That's good. Okay, so you have that perspective, but let's say that your opponent don't. They fighting to get off some steam. So before you fight, do you ever consider like this fight can result in a loss or injury? Like how do you prepare yourself mentally for that?
Mentally, I prepare myself by I watch Animal Planet. So I watch Animal Planet. I watch the lions, the tigers, the bears. When they out in the jungle, they out in the wild, and they hungry. They gotta eat. Nobody gonna bring these lions and tigers no food. They food is another animal, and so I'm going to war.
Whatever happens in that ring.
So he in front of me, and he trying to stop me from reaching my goals. This is the life cycle. The animals, one animal meal is another animal's demise. So when I'm in that ring, in order for me to have success and be the person that I want to be, and for these kids to look up to me as a winner, as a champion, as a superstar, as somebody that they want to be like, I got to get the job done, brother. And you in the way. I got to do what I got to do.
I know that's right. Okay, so I need 2 pieces of advice from you.
Okay.
So you got a young boy or a young man that aspires to be a fighter. What piece of advice can you give to him? And a young man in general that don't aspire to be a fighter. What piece of advice can you bring to the table for both fighter and no fighter?
The fighter, the advice that I would give to him is that fighting is a thinking man's sport. It's not an angry man's sport. It's a thinking man's sport. So that's the first piece of advice I would give to him, is you have to think your way through fights, but the bigger picture is you have to think your way through life. As a man on the street, fighting, if the first thing you do is fighting, that's emotional and that's a woman's trait. The first thing as a man you should do is talk through your problems. So the fighter, think your way through life, think your way through fights. Don't fight just to be fighting to say you a fighter and you trying to prove something. A real man don't have to prove anything. He is who he is. And the one that I would say, the young man that I would say that doesn't fight is you have to know how to defend yourself. As a man, you have to protect and provide. You have to protect your wife. You have to provide for your wife. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your family and your kids. So you have to learn how to be dangerous. You can't go life without knowing how to fight. Whether you have to fight or not is subjective to life, right? The problems that get thrown at us. But you have to know how to fight. You have to know how to defend yourself. And those same challenges that you have in the gym as you are learning to protect yourself, your family, and provide for them, those same life skills they're gonna transfer into life. The skills that you learn in the gym to protect your family, it's gonna transfer into life. So you have to learn to be dangerous to protect your family.
That's good. So other than pouring into our next generation and real estate, what else is it outside of the ring that you wish to accomplish in life?
My number one mission is to accomplish in life is to do God's will. To do God's will,
That's good. And that's right off the dome.
That's right off, most definitely.
That's good.
To get more people to be more Christ-like, to get the young kids to put down the alcohol, get the young kids to put down the drugs. In the Bible it says keep a sober mind. And once I made the same things that I'm talking about, I know because I was going through it before. And so once I made that shift in my life, everything transformed. I could see clear. I could hear God's voice clear because I'm mindful, I'm aware, And so my biggest mission outside of all the things that's going on in life is to bring more people to Christ because He waiting on us. No matter how many sins we commit, He's still watching over us. No matter how many times we, go away from the will of God, He's still protecting us. He's still throwing our sins out the window and blessing us and waking us up the next day. And so He doing us favors. And so it's time for us to return the favor for God.
That's good. That was so good. So good. Well, there you have it, guys. Darius Walls, also known as Humble Assassin. I feel like this interview was a success. This was really good. Any other interviews, anybody, musicboxglobal@gmail is where you can contact us for more content like this on this platform. That's it.
Thank y'all. I want to say I appreciate y'all for having me. You did a great job this interview.
Thank you.
It was definitely nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I wish everybody much more success.
Thank you. I love you.
Music box.